Appreciate everybody being out here today. Very excited. Our first real Wednesday practice. We had a bonus day Monday, had some great work, and we've been working on Tampa for a few days now. What a challenge I believe this team is going to be for us. Very excited to get a chance to open up again at US Bank Stadium. We came out the right way a year ago, and I think our players are confident to try to go out there and play a good football game and a clean game. And we know it's going to be very competitive. I've got so much respect for Todd Bowles, defensively what he's done in this league for a long time, but just in general, when you flip the tape on of their entire football team, how hard they play defensively with the speed and the front that they play with. They've got a great secondary on the back end, and I know they're going to do some things interesting on offense to really get into that kind of attack world. I think their OC's got some history with folks that I've coached with before who I know are great coaches, and he's been a guy that's been prepared for this for a long time. So we've got a heck of a challenge across the board. Really looking forward to US Bank being as loud as ever to get this thing going. I know the expectation is we're working through our defensive nonverbal communication, and that's just fine by me. That we'll be expecting that place to be rocking on Sunday. So looking forward to that. And then just lastly, with it being a very special day, honoring legendary coach Bud Grant. We've talked a lot about just how special he was personally to me, but Sunday's not about me in any way, shape, or form. It's about Bud and the legend that he was for this organization and really in the Twin Cities. And I hope we can celebrate that multiple ways. I know our players and coaches will be wearing the patch that I have on my hat, and ultimately just use Sunday as really a celebration of everything that Bud Grant was and will always be to the Minnesota Vikings and the Twin Cities. So very much an important thing for me to mention there, and I hope that the Grant family and all the Vikings legends that will be here really get a chance to come together and really celebrate him, rightly so, right there at a Minnesota Vikings home opener. So just injury update for you guys. Troy Dye will be the only player we will list on the injury report with an elbow, but he will be a full participant and expect him, barring any setbacks, to participate in the game on Sunday. With that, I'll turn it over to questions.
How excited are you to see this defense, which
Yeah.
we saw a lot in practice, but clearly preseason, but just as far as the complexities of what this defense is going to bring out in the first building with Brian is?
Yeah, game planning, Judd, and putting together a full plan and ultimately getting to see it come to life with different looks and some of the things that we've kind of put together to build around our personnel on defense and allow guys to go out there and play fast and hopefully fly around and make a lot of plays. So as I told our team today, talking about what I think it's going to take to win the game, really that's our whole team is we want to come out with a bunch of energy, play fast, and fly around in all phases of our team. And it's always about scheme and technique and fundamentals, but I think the effort and the urgency, how we come out of the tunnel on Sunday is as important as anything, because it's going to be a heck of a challenge against Tampa.
Is this thing unveiled completely in week one, or can you sort of slow roll because there's going to be a lot that opponents don't know, not to put it all on film against Tampa?
Yeah, I think the beauty of it is, there's so much marriage to it that, with everything that we'll do, there more than likely will be a counterpunch or a marrying look to it, where we can do some different things. That's the beauty of kind of the package that's been installed, whether it's personnel-based, whether it's pressures, coverages, situational calls. We can really, you only get so many snaps this Sunday, and we're going to game plan based upon what we think gives our guys the best chance to have success. So, as the season goes on, I'm sure there will be game plans and challenges that present themselves that we have to adapt and kind of mold. But that's the beauty of kind of what we've built. And what I'm excited to kind of see play out here in the early part of the season is just what that looks like on a game in and game out basis and how Flo wants to deploy our personnel.
It's a much different first game. Last year,
Yeah.
coach letting nerves on shore or butterflies in a good way. When does it sink in for you as a coach now that it's, that's out of the way, like it's game
Well, I hope for me it's not first contact, but I would say I'm sure just going into the weekend and as we finish our preparation, I'm kind of a creature of habit, and a little nerves are a good thing. But my confidence level in our team is pretty darn high right now, and it's time for us to just go play. And there will be adversity. There will be moments in the game where we've got to find a way to recapture or try to initially capture momentum. And what phase of our team is out on the field when we need to do that, is really up to how the game flow goes. And when you're playing a team that causes the challenges in all three phases that this team does, you want to get off to a great start, but you also have to prepare yourself that it's going to be 4 quarters. And, we expect it to be very competitive, and we got to be able to, handle some unscouted looks. We got to be able, be ready to handle some new things that we may not have been able to really truly prepare for. And that's where you stick to your rules, your techniques, your fundamentals, and then your urgency to just play fast and right, wrong, or indifferent. Go play fast, all 11 flying around, and good things will happen. Yeah, sometimes it does. It depends what day you catch me on. But I feel no matter what, each and every year, hopefully as long as I get to do this job, I feel very fortunate to be in this position. But I hope each and every year I feel the same way going into the opener, just the excitement. There's always going to be a little angst and with a little bit of the unknown. But we got to confirm a lot of things we think about this team, not only Sunday but throughout the whole season. Yeah, I'll probably leave the percentage, to the imagination. But we're going to do some just based upon the growth and the evolution of what we've been able to do, not only last year, but with either our new personnel or the growth of certain players on our offensive unit, and just how it all works together. That should really be a game in and game out approach. All staying true to what I believe our football philosophy is, and how we want to apply that each and every Sunday. Might look different. It might, run, pass. How we try to do that will be based upon what we think gives us the best chance to move the football and score points. Because ultimately, that's what I'm excited to see. Our team be efficient, move the football, be smart and aggressive in situations where we can try to move the ball down the field for explosives. But at the same time, this defense is one where you got to be aware of the problems that they can cause, because if you don't go about your business snap in and snap out, it can be something that you're playing behind the chains way more than you'd like. Yeah. Yeah, him and I have talked, dating back to much earlier than just the first game week, of just what a lot of times it's just asking the questions, where his head's at, how he's feeling. Most of the time it veers towards scheme, Kevin, and kind of how we want to play and what's being asked of him and how he can do his job at a really high level. But I think it would be naive of me not to at least, be there for him in a way where he knows that I fully support him, not only as our captain and our starting quarterback, but, he knows my feelings towards him. And those feelings were the same, last year before we ever played, just knowing my history with him. And all he's done, since day one is really just enhance, who I believe Kirk Cousins is as a quarterback and a leader and just a man amongst our locker room. Yeah, I think once again to be determined. We can talk a whole lot about it. We've got to go out and execute and against one of the better fronts, in football to try to run the ball against. And we know it's going to be a challenge, but we've tried to build our team through the joint practice work, through really maybe the most competitive Vikings on Vikings work that we've had, and hopefully you come out of that feeling a confidence level mixed with the preparation that we'll finish up this week with, feeling like we can go play and apply some of the things that we've talked a lot about. As much as we've talked about it, you can imagine how much we've talked about it inside this building and in the meeting rooms and on the practice field. So I want to see it come to life. And like I said, it's going to be a challenge. There's going to be some tough downs on Sunday, and it's about the overall picture of of what our offensive performance looks like and how we can survive some of the ebbs and flows of a game and ultimately find ways to score points.
Last two questions.
Where is your confidence level in the interior offense?
Yeah, I think all three of those guys, not only Garrett, Ed and Ezra, but the type of camp and how we feel about Blake truly being a guy that, if called upon, can go in there and perform. I think there's been improvement across the board. I think there's more understanding of the nuances of technique, fundamentals, how we can help as coaches with scheme, some of the things we're doing from a philosophical standpoint of how we're allowing those guys to play with a little bit more clarity, confidence, and be that much more decisive with their initial steps and their initial movements, getting significant first touches and trying to allow that to end with a clean pocket and efficiency in the run game. But like I said, there's going to be some snaps. It's not one of those things where the expectation is we're just going to be able to block everybody clean all season long, but the hope is that we have improved. We can limit some of those negatives in the run and pass game that kind of set us behind the 8 ball last year in certain points of the season. And then it's just about consistency of, can we go do it and figure out ways, both schematically and our players just playing to their standards of how we can go be competitive every week.
Last one, Judd.
About Kevin's point, like with Kirk or TJ or Daniel, what is your philosophy about being involved in contracts? Because clearly the roster starts to involve you, but it doesn't really do you much good to be a bad guy in a contract negotiation. So how do you
Yeah, I think the balance is communication and making sure that I will always do my best to keep those lines of communication daily open, honest, and allow the player to go through their process with their representation and Kwesi and Rob of what that looks like. My role in that is just to continue to make sure that I'm a positive tool for both sides and really look at it as how do I, in my role, help to make sure that we get to a good place? And that could be a lot of different outcomes. I'd prefer all of them to be outcomes where the guys that are you're speaking of and so many players we have out on this practice field today, I want them all here as long as we can. But it's one of those things where that side of it has to play itself out, and the way we like to treat people, the way we like to communicate and make sure it's daily, make sure they know they're a major focus of our whole organization. And then we just work through the intricacies of it to try to see if we can get something done. But throughout that whole process, the communication from me is one where I hope all of our players feel like my door's open, they can come talk to me about it, and I'm going to give them my honest opinion if they ask for it. If they don't, I'm probably still going to give it to them anyway. But in the end, it's about them feeling good about the overall process. So when things do get done, they're excited about it, and they're excited about being a Minnesota Viking for a long time.